So are you sleeping well these days? In this video, I want to share with you the 10 ways I found that helped me sleep better.
How's it going, Reinventors? I'm Amelia, and this is Reinventing You, the channel where you can be inspired to take your own reinventing journey so that you can live a life of joy, fulfillment, and purpose. I try to post twice a week. Soon I'm going to be doing Vlogmas. That is, I'm going to be having a short video every day from December 1st to December 25th. So you can discover the 25 best ways that I recommend to use your time after you retire. I'm so glad you're here. This channel is for you if you are making a major change in your life, whether it's in your physical health, your mental health, your relationships, your job or career. All of those can mean that you are reinventing yourself. And there's a lot of other ways you can reinvent yourself that I'm not even mentioning, but that means you are a reinventor. If you would like, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and click on the bell to receive notifications when I post new videos. If you are already a follower or subscriber of this channel, I invite you to give me a thumbs up. So I have talked a little bit about in some recent videos about getting your sleep and how important that is. And I realized that I had done a video about sleep maybe a year or two ago. And I've got it just up here if you want to check that out. It's also in the descriptions below. So I wanted to really kind of break it down and talk about the top 10 ways I've learned in order to sleep better. The first thing I've learned in order to sleep better is no lights. And what I mean by no lights, I mean there can't be any kind of light in the room. We have blackout curtains, we shut the doors as much as possible, and I'll get back to that in a moment. We use a diffuser every night, but I have to make sure it's one that doesn't have a light, and a lot of diffusers glow, or even if they say they don't have a light, they do have a light because that's what gives it its kind of heat. So I had to really discover one that was like that, and actually one, it belonged to doTERRA. There's some other companies out there. I found another one before this, but it didn't last all night long like this one does. Also, I have a fan going on. I'll talk about that all during the night, but it also had a little tiny red light on it, and I had to cover that up. How many clocks do we know that have like these glowing numbers? Any kind of light will keep me up. We have a cat that likes to come in and out of the bedroom. We also have a college-age son that's distance learning. He's at home, and of course he stays up late, and so I have to leave the door cracked just a little bit. But if my son's up and there's lights going on, I have the hardest time getting to sleep, or if I wake up in the middle of the night, I have a hard time getting back to sleep. I have to make sure there are certain lights turned off. I've got to have the room as dark as possible. The darker the room, the better I sleep. So that's my number one thing. Total darkness, you will sleep better. The second way to get a good night's sleep is to get up at the same time, which seems like you think, Amelia, shouldn't you be going to bed at the same time? But let me tell you, sometimes trying to go to bed at the same time is hard because maybe some nights you're just 9:30 and you just can't stay awake anymore. On other nights you're getting into a good book and it's 11:30 or midnight. But if you can get up at the same time every day, it really helps. It helps you get up and get going. You're not as sluggish, you're not as lethargic. You just can go. And sometimes it's easier than others. Getting up at the same time every day really helps me sleep better. I don't understand why. In my video that I pointed out a few minutes ago, I know that I talked about the work of Sean Stevenson, and he has like a list of 21 things to do to sleep better, and a lot of things I've done I've gotten from his book, and some other things and just living and experiencing. But that's one thing that I've found that's helped me, because it's sometimes so hard to go to bed at the same time every night, but I can at least get up every day at the same time. And the third and fourth ways to sleep better at night kind of go together. And the first one, I said, just go to sleep. That sometimes is really hard for me because I'll get caught up in a story that I'm reading. I always read before bed. So I get caught up in a story and I'm like, oh, I just read one more chapter, or I just want to find out what happens, or I'm 80%, it's a Kindle. So I'm 80% done with this book. I'm just read to the end. It is so much better if I just go to sleep. Now, occasionally there'll be a story that kind of hangs on in my memory or my mind and I'm having a hard time because I'm thinking about it. But usually it's better for me just to go on to sleep, and I just have to say, let's just go to sleep. Now,
Sometimes if my husband goes on to sleep, it's helpful for me to go on when he does, but that doesn't always work. But I just have to tell myself, just go to sleep. And that's kind of one of my struggles that I still, have a hard time with. But that's one thing I highly recommend. And the second thing that goes on top, number 4, is go to bed when you're sleepy. I can't tell you how many times, 9:15, 9:30, I'm just like, can hardly keep my eyes open, but I'm thinking, oh, it's not 10 o'clock yet. I don't need to go to bed yet. I do need to go on to bed. And a lot of times I will, be in the den or whatever, watching TV or reading or whatever, and then I was like, I'm kind of feeling sleepy. I need to go get ready for bed. Well, getting ready for bed for me is like finding my second wind, changing clothes, brushing your teeth, washing your face, taking out contacts, all that. For some reason, that just wakes me up. So one thing that I've learned is to go ahead and get ready for bed early. Like if I want to aim to go to bed at 10, we're not watching a show or whatever, or when we are watching a show, I will go ahead and get my pajamas on and get all ready for bed. I can't take my contacts out because with glasses and being bifocals, if you're leaning back, that you can't see. But anyway, I can watch the TV with my glasses in, but it's just better if I have my contacts in. But I can do everything else but that. It really helps because then time for bed, I go take out my contacts, get my glasses, get in bed. Now I do tend to read for a little bit before going to sleep most of the time, but once I'm in bed, the diffuser's going, the fan's going, it's dark. It really helps. The rest of the house is kind of calm. It really does help me. When you're sleepy, go to bed. The 5th thing is, and I talked about having a fan. I'm going to do some B-roll, but I realize my fan is covered in dust and pet hair, is have some kind of white noise. And I use a fan. I think that this is one thing I learned to do. Gosh, my husband and I, when we first married, I think he had this antique old metal fan that he used to to run every night, and old fans made a lot of noise, so it was almost not white noise as it was just a noise. Having a fan running at night really helps me. It's just this white noise, it kind of blocks other noises. I really like it. We used to have, when my son was little, we had one in the hallway so that everybody had advantage of the white noise and he couldn't hear us. We stayed up a little bit later past his bedtime. But now we keep one in our room and we have it going all the time. It really is helpful. I've told people this before, and is that the problem is it's probably time for us to get a new fan. But finding one that doesn't have an annoying light, I had to put some electrical tape on top of this one so that it's not shining. But also finding a fan that makes noise, because a lot of fans these days, you'll see it on the box, doesn't make any noise, a really quiet fan, because a lot of people, when they want a fan, they want air, not noise. So that's really difficult. I did try to do white noise on my Kindle, but there are a couple of problems with that. Number one is it never was as good, and then it just pulled the battery down on my Kindle, and that's not helpful either. So get you a fan. That'll help you get a better night's sleep. Another thing that I've discovered is to get a better pillow. Now, I like a softer pillow. I love goose down pillows. I love down. That is my kind of pillow that I like. Now, I had a really good pillow, but I like to change my pillows out about every, 8-9 months, something like that. Probably at least once a year, I would say you want to change your pillow, because they really do get nasty. It's much better to change your pillow very often, but to find one that I like is very hard. We have had another place that we sleep. That's a house we're eventually going to retire to. Right now we're remodeling it. It's going through its own reinventing. We brought all those pillows home from that house because I didn't want to put them in storage and all that, and I said, well, let's compare the pillows. Well, I had gotten some new feather pillows for this bed here, but they just were not as good. And I remember that every time we went to our lake house, I always got a better night's sleep, and one of the reasons is because the pillow was better, and it really has helped. It's still down, but it's got a little bit more firm, so it's not like every night I'm trying to plump it up and get it so that it actually holds my head. But find the pillow that you really like, and you may have to experiment. You may have to try different kinds of pillows before you find the one you like. I talked earlier about my diffuser. I don't know why I mentioned it before, but I like having some kind of scent that relaxes me. during the nighttime. And I have about 4 different kinds of scents that I use on a regular basis. If you want some more information about what oils I use and what I would recommend at night, if you will ask me in the comments below, and I'll let you know a little bit more about what kind of oils I use. A diffuser helps not just in terms of scent, but it also helps in terms of putting some moisture in the air, and it really can help you breathe. If you say, well, I'm really sensitive to scents, or I've got asthma or something, one of the things that Sean Stevenson suggested is having a plant to kind of purify the air. And of course, nowadays there are all these air purifiers out there. So you could probably get an air purifier that makes a noise, so that's your white noise plus purifies the air, and it may even put some moisture in the air too. I don't know. These days, who knows what you can find. The number 8 way to get a good night's sleep for me is that if I'm exercising, working, and relaxing. And let me break that down. Exercising doesn't mean I exercise every day. Like, you know, I don't go for a walk every day. I go about every 3 or 4 days. I go for a walk 3 or 4 times a week. I also try to move, you know, and I'm just not sitting all the time. And I also try to relax, and I do a relaxation in different ways. It includes taking a tub bath. It includes just having some downtime. I can't go from watching a tense movie or TV show to right to bed. I mean, that just doesn't have, got to have some way. Reading is a great way for me to relax. But also, there are some things I just can't read. I have to try to relax before I go to bed. But if I combine that with some movement and exercise and doing some work and I'm, you know, doing things, I sleep so much better than if I just laid around all day and ate junk food. The number 9th way to get a better sleep at night is to get off social media. Do not watch social media. I think somebody suggested an hour and a half before bed, 2 hours before bed. Don't have a TV in your bedroom. Don't keep your phone in your bedroom. I'll point again to the video concerning Sean Stevenson's book about better sleep, but I just have to say that social media gets your dopamine level up. And when you're watching that, whether it's texts, where it's TikTok, whether it's here on YouTube, it really does, it makes you anxious. It really just gets that, and it's really hard to come down off of that, and it's really hard to keep sleeping. Also, if you have any kind of electronics in your bedroom, it's going to accept signals all through the night, and my understanding is that actually that can interrupt your sleep in the middle of the night. Now, you may have a situation where you need to have your phone not too far away. Try to slip it in the bathroom or at least across the room, and get the television out of your bedroom. There's no reason for you to have television in your bedroom. Keep your TV in other areas of the house. Use your bedroom just for sleeping and reading and, well, other activities. The 10th way to get a better sleep, with my experience anyway, is cool your temperatures. This is a battle, an ongoing battle that I have with my husband. My husband is the kind of person who lets off heat. He's constantly letting off heat. If at night the cats go on him because he's warm, they don't go on me because I'm not warm. I probably absorb heat during the night. But he has got to have a lot of blankets and warmth and everything at night. I'm just the opposite. Now, when I first go to bed at night, I will snuggle up under lots of blankets and everything, but I don't end up that way. Now, I'm wearing some pajamas, but these really more are like, I don't know what you call it, casual relaxation PJs. Like if it's really cold outside, I'll put these on and for lounging around the house. But when it's time for bed, I just have, you know, just a real simple little nightgown that I wear. I don't like anything long down my legs. I'll do, you know, pajama pants if it's really cold, but I'll tell you how many times I get up in the middle of the night and take them off. Now, a lot of women my age, in their 50s and around this age, have hot flashes. I don't seem to have hot flashes, but I do get warm at night. So I just have to know I've got to regulate my temperature and make it as cold as possible. Now, I remember Sean Stevenson suggests turning your thermostat down to like 65, 63 degrees at night. That's way too cold. But we do turn our temperature down, or, you know, the heat down, the air down, whatever, at night. Also, years ago, my husband and I slept under electric blanket. I cannot believe we did this. And what I would do is I would turn it was one of those where you temperature control both sides. I would turn mine on before I went to bed so I'd get the bed warm. Then I get in bed and I turn it off. But even if I didn't have my side on, it just still was very warm. I finally had to just say, we got to stop using the electric blanket. And so we did, and we don't use that anymore. Now my husband is just under a bunch of blankets and has all the cats. I hope these 10 ways that I found to help me sleep better have been helpful for you. Please let me know in the comments if that is true for you, and I would also love to hear ways that you sleep better. I hope that you will join me in my upcoming Vlogmas about 25 things to do with your time after retirement so that you can live the best life ever. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and click on the bell notification. Have a great night's sleep.